to bring the fight over towards Cerberus because they have a lot of engage. They have a lot of capability to bring the fight towards members of PSO. Do you think PSO will be able to fight on the back foot here?
Fighting on a back foot, I think it's going to be a bit of a problem. PSO are playing on a timer for sure, simply because we're looking at a Kassadin on the side of BMM. But PSO, they do have some catch. If you can get the binding, if you can get some sort of a apprehend with Tufts, then maybe PSO can get something going. But even then, we're talking about the lack of lockdown. If you are not following up with those pixel-perfect chain CCs, you're not keeping BMM in place. You're not keeping Y1 in place. If you get onto Meliodas, he's going to go for the crescent sweep. And I think at the end of the day, it's just PSO needing to realize that these individual lanes have to go well, and they need to start deathballing before CES hits that critical mass.
Yeah, and I think critical mass is going to be on the agenda here for Cerberus. They are going to be playing very, very conservatively across the board. And I'm looking at how some of these players actually interact with one another in the lanes. We do see, oh, the binding!
Binding onto Genza, satellite by the Ignite. They do turn around with the exhaust, deadly flourish. Barely missing Tobu. Genza thinking about it, and he actually misses the auto attack. Doesn't matter though. Tobu still goes down, and Deva almost follows suit. A 1-for-1 trade down bot.
Alright, that was a very wise choice for Genza there. Genza almost putting himself into a bit of trouble.
Tufts doesn't think he can stay in that lane against Y1, so the burden shifts over to Techmaturgy. I am fine with this, as Tufts can still hold that middle lane. Do allow this Ribbon a big responsibility to handle Y1 in this state. PSO kind of finding a room for them to wriggle around, but I don't think they're finding much avenue. Y1 gladly taking this challenge, gets knocked out by the keepers, and the Ignite actually kills him off. Good solo kill for the Riven.
Techmaturgy there using his shield to make sure that he's able to sustain quite a bit of that damage. Was a very, very wise try there for Y1 to be able to go in. It was just a matter of timing, and it seems that Techmaturgy got off on the better side of the bed here. Woke up on the better side of the bed compared to Y1.
They actually caught Genza. I believe Deva got a binding and Genza went down, but Meliodas will initiate a gank down bot. A good cancel with the apprehend. Tufts walks away. It's going to be assistance though. Hero's entrance in to knock out Meliodas. The grand challenge on the BMM. Procs by Jiro. Taking down the Kassadin and also finishing on Meliodas. PSO with a great response to open up the Mountain Drake for themselves.
Okay, not entirely surprised here by PSO. PSO were able to handily come back into this game, be able to get 3 kills out of that. Mostly Meliodas, BMM, and if I'm not mistaken, it was the support, the Nautilus as well, that was caught out. So I do think that for the side of PSO, they do have a running bit of chance here, but they have to be very, very wary on how members of Cerberus are actually trying to instigate control over members of PSO. We do see that if they keep playing like this and they play for picks, then PSO may actually be in a very strong spot. But if they play the outright fight, direct 5-on-5 fight, then we may see Cerberus actually be the one ahead here.
Loving this look from PSO, getting the stun onto the BMM, and he's going to start bleeding. And another kill goes over to PSO. That is the aggression that we want to see. Duck B holding this Galio back, but Toby just re-engages a death charge on the two. Meliodas now goes in with a charge. Shelly doesn't really get the turret though. It's going to be the one that gets with his team, getting to get those advantage. Starting with the top tier 1, BMM will buy some time as Cerberus brings the rest of the cavalry to this lane.
4-man here, apparently looking for an opportunity to invade. Looking at the directional, looking at the positioning here, they are in a good spot. They will be able to try to instigate maybe a dive here, but they've got to be careful. They immediately go again.
They engage with the death charge. Techmaturgy has gone down. Tobu putting his body in front. Grand challenge issued. Jiro couldn't proc the vitals. So no sustain for PSO, and it is time to run. Genza doesn't get the deadly flourish, but Duckby follows up. A good binding from Dewa, who also flashes away, but he is exhausted now. The curtain call is drawn by CES. The line in the sand as the snipes come through. A riposte from Jill to buy some time, but Duckby wants the confirmation, and he will find it. A smash with the anchor to the face. 3 kills for CES.
I love how the curtain call can be used as like a cowboy flipping the table and shooting from the hip. Even the threat itself can be very detrimental towards PSO because they got so many things to worry about. The fact that Duck B was there to follow up with the dredge line, the fact that he was there to follow up with the the ultimate, the depth charge as well, I felt that there was a huge opportunity for Cerberus to actually pull the trigger, and they did. PSO were just left running in the midst. And this is the huge problem that we were talking about for PSO. A lot of concern for them is the fact that there is a lot of lockdown. If the lockdown starts to begin, the fight starts to begin. Oh, wait.
They're gonna try it onto Dugby, but he's not an easy target to take down. They finally get the kill, but it didn't take them a while. CES not ready to respond. PSO turn their attention over to the Herald.
Herald now is going to be the main object of contest here for the side of Cerberus, as well as members of PSO. PSO more concerned with the Herald, positioning themselves in such a way. We're going to see curtain call now being picked up. Nothing entirely too dangerous here. No threat of death to any members of PSO.
CES still waiting for that dragon to spawn.
To their credit, is trying their best to negate them at every turn.
Now say PSO has been handling this special pretty well from both the Camille and Meliodas. Dugby has been super active so far. Another attempt onto Tobu's life. Gets a taunt out. Has to buy a bit of time. Present sweep. Early disengage. But the flash, knock up, key burst, gives PSO their first. But Joe once more. A double for this Fiora. The third one on the chopping block will be Dugby. PSO bulldozers CES in the middle lane. And CES finds nothing. BMM has an attempt on his board, but doesn't find any return.
Oh, BMM playing it very dangerously though. Decides to rift walk very nearby. We do see 5 members for the side of PSO go for the Baron, and this could be a very good choice for them, but they have to be very careful though. The steal could be very real. Look at that, BMM on the side there. Immediately tries to go for a tactical sweep right into Hextech Ultimatum.
Tobu misses it a bit. BMM, he needs to buy a bit of time, stack up the rift walk. Zonya, bit of a delay. There is a smite from Joe. He's gonna get it. BMM not able to delay for long enough, and CES's efforts futile. No members go down on PSO side.
Y1 goes colorless here as he is going to be going into the... going to be responding in the fountain in 20 seconds. Unfortunate for him. BMM as well is going to be the secondary member there to be taken down in that exchange, despite trying his level best to
that will be blocked by Tuff.
No,
He's willingly going to tank up all of the damage as PSO continues this assault.
Rather unfortunate there. An apprehend from the side of Dugby not being able to get it. We do see an engage there coming up. Tofu right now getting into it, going for the Decimate apprehend.
Oh, the Y1 pull back. He's going to delay his death with the ultimatum, but it's a bit too late. It's a bit of a misplay with that pathing. And PSO now will have that man advantage. Baron buff still online. Tobu tries to go for a hit, gets swiped away by the Crescent Sweep, but they've caught Genza, and PSO slowly thinning the numbers of CES. The game is not at the end of the road just yet, but PSO have found 2 inhibitor turrets, and CES are now on the back foot.
One thing I want to highlight here, and this is a micro observation on towards the side of Tufts for PSO. He was already gearing up in the middle of his animation for his Noxin Guillotine, but I think there was a knock-up or maybe a stun from Dugby or something that pushed him back. And man, that was just beautifully timed. If it wasn't for that, in the case, the apprehend right into the Big Strike.
BMM needs to find a way out. Flash still gets knocked up. The Rift Walk is there. He gets the slow with the Void Pulse. A Flash binding from Dewa. So well done. The Zonyas will only prevent his death just for a bit longer. But Turds will execute him, cuts him in half. Dugby now the second target, and it's Joe in the forefront. The Grand Duelist of Persis Esports getting a killing spree for himself, and CES have lost complete control of the game.
I'm very surprised Cerberus Esports is actually dropping quite a bit here. Curtain call is going to come up. He's got to be careful though. We just see Audacious charge right into it.
Can Meliodas save the game again for his team? It doesn't feel like PSO are going to give him that room. They have learned from Buram's mistake, and in fact, they don't need the Baron. They just need to kill the members of CES. 2 more down, and PSO lands an ace. 18 minutes and 40 seconds. PSO draws blood from the second seed of the Vietnam region.
I don't know about you, but this is indicative of Indonesian resurgence here. And it seems that for those of you in the Indonesian region, rejoice because Indo Pride is here. Game number 1 goes over to Persis